In the flat world of digital connectivity, where information crosses borders in a millisecond, a criminal industry of unimaginable scale is silently extending its octopus-like tentacles across the globe. This is not a conventional financial crisis or a visible military conflict, but an organized scam pandemic, a specter nurtured in the shadows of political instability, greed, and human desperation. This is a criminal empire worth tens of billions of dollars, built on the blood, tears, and suffering of hundreds of thousands of modern-day slaves. Repeated warnings from the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, UNODC, and international human rights organizations have painted a horrifying picture. Hundreds of thousands of people, hailing from all over Asia, Africa, and even Latin America, are being imprisoned, tortured, and forced to commit online fraud within fortified compounds. According to reports, in the Southeast and East Asia regions alone, the total losses from these types of scams in 2023 reached a staggering $37 billion. And now, the wrath of a world-leading superpower has just officially struck a thunderous blow against one of the most critical links in this global criminal network. In a move seen as the most direct and harsh sanction to date, targeting the economic nature of these criminal activities, the U.S. Department of the Treasury issued a statement on November 12, announcing the imposition of comprehensive economic sanctions on the Democratic Karen Buddhist Army, also known as the DKBA, an influential ethnic armed group operating in Kayin State, Myanmar. The reason given was not related to traditional military activities or territorial disputes, but for the group's direct role in providing, quote, safe zones, protection, and even participating in the operation of massive cyber scam centers with the specific aim of targeting American citizens. This sanction is an emphatic message that Washington will no longer tolerate or stand by and watch its citizens be systematically fleeced from the other side of the globe. The sanctions do not just target the entire DKBA organization as an entity. They also specifically name 4 of its senior leaders who are believed to have directly ordered or illicitly profited from this scam industry. But Washington's sights are not limited to Myanmar's borders. The blacklist also names 2 companies registered in Thailand and 1 Thai citizen. These entities and individuals are accused of being part of the money laundering and logistics network, having colluded closely with Chinese-origin organized crime gangs. Their cooperation model is incredibly sophisticated. International criminal gangs provide the initial investment capital, technology, sophisticated scam scripts like pig butchering or cryptocurrency investment fraud, and a global network of victims. In return, the Karen armed group, specifically the DKBA, uses its territorial control and armed forces to provide land for building the compounds, supply electricity, water, telecommunications infrastructure, and most importantly, an environment immune to the rule of law. This is irrefutable evidence of a transnational unholy alliance, a perfect criminal business model where profits from fraud are divided and reinvested to consolidate the power of the armed groups. What outrages the international community far beyond the colossal financial losses is the human nature of these scam centers. The U.S. Treasury emphasized in its statement that these facilities are, in effect, modern-day slave camps. Hundreds of thousands of workers, many of them educated and fluent in foreign languages, were lured by promises of easy jobs with high salaries, or customer service specialist or programmer positions with attractive pay in special economic zones. They were tricked into traveling to Thailand, then smuggled across the border into Myanmar. As soon as they set foot in the compounds, which are enclosed by high walls, barbed wire, and armed checkpoints, their passports, phones, and all personal documents are confiscated. They are forced to work 16 to 18 hours a day under the strict supervision of armed guards. They are assigned scam quotas, forced to create fake social media profiles, approach and build trust with victims all over the world, and ultimately persuade them to transfer money into fake investment accounts. Anyone who fails to meet the quota, resists, or attempts to escape faces brutal forms of torture. Beatings, electric shocks, solitary confinement in dark rooms, starvation, and even being sold to another criminal syndicate like a piece of merchandise. The enormous revenue, amounting to billions of dollars annually from the sweat and fear of these victims, not only enriches the mafia bosses, but is also used to directly finance the military activities of the DKBA, purchase weapons and ammunition, and contribute to deepening the civil war and instability that has plagued Myanmar for decades. The U.S. Undersecretary of the Treasury, John Hurley, did not hesitate to point out the severity of the issue in an official statement. These criminal networks have stolen billions of dollars from Americans while also fueling violence and exacerbating instability in Myanmar. He also forcefully affirmed that the U.S. government will continue to pursue and use every tool available, from financial sanctions to criminal prosecutions, to hunt down these cybercriminals regardless of where they are hiding. This statement is not just a simple warning. It is an acknowledgement of the alarming reality that the United States is facing. To confront the horrifying scale of this problem, the U.S. has also just announced the establishment of a new specialized strike force. The mission of this force is to centralize all resources from federal agencies, from the Department of Treasury to the Department of Justice to the FBI, to investigate, disrupt, and prosecute the online scam networks that are mushrooming across Southeast Asia. The three countries named as the special focus of this force are Myanmar, Cambodia, and Laos, which are considered the new golden triangle of cybercrime. Statistics from the U.S. government have shown the urgency of this action. Americans, from lonely elderly individuals who have lost their entire life savings to an online romance, to young investors lured into fraudulent cryptocurrency exchanges, are estimated to have lost at least $10 billion in 2024 alone due to scam activities originating from Southeast Asia. This figure is not just a telling number. It marks a staggering surge of 66% compared to the previous year. This demonstrates the dizzying speed of development, the professionalization, and the increasing effectiveness of these criminal organizations. In reality, this is not the first time Washington has targeted the scam cities in Myanmar. The sanction against the DKBA is a further escalation in a campaign that had already begun. Previously, another armed group, the Transnational Army, or KNA, formerly known as the Karen Border Guard Force, BGF, had also been placed on the U.S. sanctions list. The KNA is accused of running and protecting massive and even more notorious scam complexes in locations that have become symbols of transnational crime, such as Shui Koko and KK Park. These places, located along the Moi River separating Myanmar and Thailand, were advertised as modern special economic zones, entertainment hubs, casinos, and smart cities. But behind the glamorous facade of high-rise buildings and promises of development, they are in fact impenetrable fortresses of crime, lawless lands where gangs can freely operate their fraud and human trafficking machines without hindrance. The fight against this type of crime is incredibly complex and challenging. It is not merely a fight against high-tech crime. It is a fight against deeply entrenched local power structures, against corruption, and above all, against the severe political instability in Myanmar since the 2021 coup. It is precisely the collapse of state governance in the border regions that has created a power vacuum, a fertile ground perfectly suited for crime to flourish. The U.S. sanctions, while powerful, are just one blow against the flow of money. To uproot this monster, a more coordinated and resolute effort is needed from all countries in the region, especially in neighboring countries like Thailand and China, in controlling borders, stopping the flow of trafficked persons, and cracking down on money laundering networks. Hundreds of thousands of lives are still at risk, and billions of dollars continue to flow into the pockets of criminals every day. This war has only just begun. Thank you for watching this story. If you found it meaningful, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and share this video. And now it's time to say goodbye. Thank you for staying with Societal Stories.